Please select a mission. Unit dispatched.
Alright, we have more tapes. Ah.
You called that thing Sahelanthropus. Where does the name come from?
Well, several years ago, an excavation team discovered a hominid skull in the Sahel region.
Central Africa. The Southern Sahara.
Cypher gave the specimen the name Sahelanthropus, Man of Sahel. And then they covered the whole thing up.
Why?
They probably wanted to monopolize information about human evolution to have a head start in their genetic research. At least, until they had an idea of what they'd found.
It was that big of a discovery, huh?
Sahelanthropus was a gracile hominid, estimated to have lived about 7 million years ago. What's significant about it is how its skull's foramen magnum faces down. In other words, its spinal column supported its head from underneath.
It stood upright.
Right. Which would mean Sahelanthropus walked upright 3 million years before Australopithecus, making it the world's oldest human species.
Walking upright. I get it. Hence the name Sahelanthropus for your machine.
Walking upright was the decisive difference between our ancestors and other anthropoids. Our brains could get heavier once they were supported by the spinal column. That led to the use of tools and the development of complex communication through language. Only man is capable of this. My creation will be the progenitor of all bipedal weapon platforms.
And you did this for Cypher?
No, not at all. Sahelanthropus is the best proof that I never betrayed you guys.
What do you mean?
The reconstructed Sahelanthropus skull looked exactly like the skull we used as our logo 9 years ago in the Caribbean.
An army without a nation. Outside the world order.
The design was based on Pangaea, the supercontinent that existed 250 million years ago, right?
Yeah. When the world was a single landmass. That concept's at the source of our strength.
I felt the same way about Sahelanthropus. Sure, I was forced to build it under their orders, but I always wanted to put its technology back in our hands someday. That's the reason I incorporated the old insignia into Sahelanthropus's name. Don't you see? That's how much I was thinking about you guys.
Oh, I see, all right. I see someone desperate to cover his ass. You can say whatever you want after the fact. But that skull also symbolizes somebody else. Skullface.
Snake, you finally came. Just don't record this, okay?
Not recording anything. What's this about?
What I'm about to say stays between you and me. It's about the weapon to surpass Metal Gear. You know a researcher by the name of Clark? He works in the biotech industry, real advanced stuff. His area is bioengineering, but lately he's also gotten into genetic research.
Never heard of him.
Well then, what do you know about cloning?
I think I've heard enough.
Hold on, this is important. Cloning lets you create a genetic copy of an organism. You take the nucleus of one of its cells, and you swap it with the nucleus of an unfertilized egg from another member of the same species. They started out working with plants, but since then they've had success with other organisms, including mammals. It's a hot area for a lot of places right now. Corporations, universities, research groups. There's no shortage of scientists out to get famous and patent their work, with morality taking a back seat.
Isn't that a little outside your field?
It's got nothing to do with my research, but I thought it might be of interest to you. Cloning, and Dr. Clark, I mean.
Go on.
Now, this is really highly classified stuff, but I've heard that an American biotech company has successfully cloned a human being. What's more, it happened over 10 years ago, and the researcher behind it was Dr. Clark. You've really never heard of him?
I don't meet many doctors.
This Dr. Clark is a complete ghost, even to others in his field. His age, where he comes from, that might not be his real name. And I can't even say for sure he's a he. Clark's employer, ATGC, its company motto is embracing your hopes, preserving talent.
What does this have to do with me?
Cypher. Dr. Clark works for ATGC, and they have connections to DARPA. Cypher couldn't function without the communications network DARPA's built. Meaning, Cypher has to be a part of the Pentagon. Or at least, the two are joined at the hip. DARPA is a driving force behind human cloning. It's a pretty high priority project for them. And this Dr. Clark, some say he's a pivotal player in Cypher. But that's not all. Every cell nucleus in an organism contains the genetic information for that organism. Think of it as a blueprint for life. Clark appears to be working on how to decode this information and rearrange it at will. If you could do that, it would mean being able to custom design human beings for specific purposes. Can you believe that? Suppose for a moment that this is all fact. A man of your talents, if your genetic information died with you, that would be a terrible loss for mankind. But what if mankind could preserve you for future generations by cloning you?
Foreshadowing after the fact.
I get the idea.
Look, I know it's inductive reasoning, but this weapon to surpass Metal Gear they're developing in Africa, I believe it's something that uses this new technology. Speaking as a fellow scientist, it chills me to the bone.
That's rich coming from you.
If genes serve as our blueprint, then I wonder if they include an impulse that drives us to tweak the design. Can you imagine that? Genes, encoded with information that wants its children to decode it. Is life itself putting the direction of our next evolution in the hands of scientists? I guess it would take some real arrogance to believe that. And yet, it could be what Cypher's after.
I think you're barking up the wrong tree. But that was an interesting story. It'd make a good movie.
You have to believe me.
Where'd you hear all this anyway?
Where? I just overheard it in bits and pieces while I was forced to do that research for them.
Right.
Wait a minute. Look, I want to help you. I want to be of service here. I'm risking my life with this.
Is that so? Maybe it's time we brought someone else into the conversation.
No, not him. Not Ocelot. You can't do this.
Alright, that's enough listening to names for now. Let's go. We're headed back to Afghanistan, and we're gonna give our new lady friend a try. That sounded weird. Definitely sounded weird.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Being a scout sniper, there are two tasks you can give Quiet. The first is to infiltrate an outpost ahead of you and scout out the enemy's positions. The second is to send her to a sniping position and have her cover your infiltration. The kind of sniper support she'll provide will depend on the weapon you give her. Of course, this is all assuming she's willing to follow orders.
Night. Didn't really mean to go here. Do you have any cool new images? All thing cool. Yeah. I think I'll do that. As if it wasn't yellow enough. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Also, I've just run out of GMP somehow, and I don't know how that happened. But yeah, we're gonna do a couple side ops again.
Weather will clear shortly.
I'm confused why I have a side mission to extract an interpreter for Afrikaans, when I just had a story mission to get an interpreter for Afrikaans. I don't know. But we're gonna go get the stun arm blueprint.
A landing zone.
Because that sounds like fun. So I wonder if we can just wander there. I just realized that there's this huge facility that we haven't been in, as far as I'm aware. No, we haven't. What if we go there?
To Afghanistan.
Alright, since she's going to be the sniper, I'm going to switch this out. It doesn't make sense. I'll leave that slot empty. If I can get this silenced, I will definitely be using it. It's like the G11, basically. Nifty. More decoys.
Deploying.
Let's explore. See what happens. Hello. What's up, kitty? Oh no, there was a noise. I'm trying to not stare at the booths too much. This is gonna be weird. Alright, we're gonna try and head over there and see what's up there. Because, you know, video games and edges of the map, always interesting. What are we looking at? Okay. Well, there's a toilet over there, so we're gonna go check that out. And I didn't take the horse, so it's gonna be a long run. Let's go. I don't know where she's gone. You know what? Got to change my camo again. I don't know where to change it anymore. This is in the outfitting? Loadout screen? I've lost track. I don't know if we can get through here.
Development complete.
I think development is complete. Is there nobody here?
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
I'm not seeing any. Oh, there's a guard. That's what I'm running into him. I was like, I don't see any guards.
Enemy present.
There we go.
Analysis. The map has been updated.
I don't see anybody inside the camp.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
There's another guy.
Analysis complete.
Not allowed. Also, I don't know where Quiet is. She's gone.
Analysis complete. Development complete. Development complete. Development complete. Development complete.
The container? I wonder if it's a huge fucking container right there. No, there's another one, is there? Okay. Rogerino, Dodgerino. Anything else? I guess this doesn't count as an outpost? Or it's not captured yet? I'm confused. And I think this is a dead end. Yep. Well, this was very pointless. Oh. Apparently Quiet's there. So that's cool. Oh yeah, this was a complete waste of our time. It's the legendary brown bear mission. Yes, we have to get the chopper out of here.
Please select a land support helicopter requested.
This was a huge waste of time. Like an immense waste of time.
Extraction arrived in the base.
That was a bit dramatic, Snake. You didn't need to do that. Oh, hey, lady. How you doing? Well, that was a complete waste of my 10 minutes. Quiet must be happy about it. Just tagged along, got absolutely nothing done. Okay. Customize. Avatar's face. Color of base. Base color. Oh, just... I can make it pink! I don't want to make it pink. Let's make it white. Some poor bastard's gonna have to go paint the whole thing. Okay.
Development project has been added.
R&D team is already full.
Staff assigned.
Okay, let's try this side off thing another time.
Please select a landing zone.
I wanted to get past that, so we're just gonna... drop it and do here. Select equipment. Primary weapon, secondary equipment. There, select character. I don't know. Is there a reason to play as these guys? I never got that. Yes. No. Oh. Hello. I mean, somebody's gonna get a kick out of that. We're doing it. If she goes naked, I go naked. That's how this game works now.
Deploying.
Commencement. Who needs a shirt when you're the fucking... I was about to say Solid Snake, but we're not Solid Snake, we're Venom Snake. Because we're full of venom. I wish more games let you insert music into, like, the actual game space rather than having it playing over the top of everything.
Be careful down there, boss.
We're not gonna capture the legendary bear. I refuse. I'm gonna listen to some of the story tapes that I've kind of missed.
I had the R&D team analyze the honeybee. How? The CIA wanted it with everything intact. They took it apart to look at it. Then they put it back together. Everything intact. That's the R&D boys, all right. Turns out the honeybee's homing capabilities are a cut above previous manpads. It can detect a broad range of infrared wavelengths, and even ultraviolet for supplementary guidance. Hence the name, huh? Right. Honeybees rely on UV light to fly. With this device, flares don't do the target any good. That's why the Soviets are losing so many gunships. And why the CIA was so desperate to get it back. It wasn't just about preventing the Soviets from devising countermeasures. What if the likes of Iran got their hands on it? American aircraft would be put at risk too. We can use this tech to develop our own portable missile. That'll give us a huge advantage. It'll take a little time before the analysis results can be applied to actual implementation. But we'll keep moving with the research.
Ow!
While the Soviets have indicated they are not participating in the Los Angeles Olympics, primarily because the United States has made no attempt to guarantee the safety of the Soviet Union's athletes, the United States is increasingly demonstrating the belief that the issue has nothing to do with its preparations, and in fact this is retaliation for the Western nations' boycott of the previous Moscow Olympics. That concludes today's news.
That's quite some news. The Soviet Union not attending the LA Olympics? Yeah. Andropov's death has changed some things. They're calling it revenge for the Western boycott of the Moscow Olympics. Countries boycotted the Moscow Olympics? Yes. In protest of the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. Over 50 countries were absent. It's too bad I didn't get to see Yamashita's judo. When the 40th Army crossed the Amu River 4 years ago, détente went right out the window. The U.S. Congress chose not to ratify SALT II, and Reagan's hardline politics won in the presidency in a landslide. According to him, the Soviet Union's an evil empire. The Second Cold War. And there's been no end to regional conflicts and civil wars. Lebanon, the Falklands, Grenada, Iran, Iraq. The story never changes. Egypt and Israel did sign a peace treaty. But then the driving force on the Egyptian side, President Sadat, was assassinated afterward. Apparently, his actions were considered a betrayal of his fellow Arabs. Islamic extremists? Yes. Fundamentalist extremists have been responsible for some bold acts of terrorism in recent years. We've had extremist students in Iran take U.S. embassy workers hostage, and suicide bombings in Lebanon. Over 300...
Again, it's looking really quiet and empty. Oh, there we go.
Countries have yet to develop an effective means of dealing with terrorism. Afraid of losing their own men, they've pulled their forces out, handing private forces a golden opportunity. Private forces? Small armies with no national affiliation, working for the highest bidder. That's right, they got the idea from you. After Mother Base went down, they began spreading to meet the soaring demand. Miller's organization is just one of many PFs now. The entire world is after you. But at the same time, it needs you too. Miller told me about what happened in the Caribbean 9 years ago. You do remember Miller. You'd formed a private army with him. An army with no allegiance to a nation. I remember, but... I see. You're not sure what's fact and what's a fantasy caused by the coma. It's still all a mess, huh? All I can do is tell you the facts as they were told to me. I've gone easy on you up until now. But this is where the hard stuff begins. 1974, the year before you entered your coma. You were in Colombia, operating with a small unit of men, basically mercenaries. Miller was among them. Miller was trying to find a way to turn his and your talents into a line of work. He was looking to start a business where you would fight on behalf of others around the world.
Jesus, that noise.
Needed military force. But the reality was, at that time, you didn't have enough gear to equip your own men. Then Miller came across this client. It was a huge job he was offering, but you had a shot at pulling it off. You accepted it and headed into Costa Rica. The client even threw in an offshore facility in the Caribbean. The Mother Base. That would be your new base of operations. Miller sure did have a head for business. As your mission went on, your unit grew and grew. More weapons, more money. Before you knew it, you were commanding 300 men. As the organization got bigger, your military
We've listened to this before.
To match. It got so the international community couldn't afford to ignore you. You were just too damn successful for your own. Currently, there are 3 major PFs who've expanded into Central Africa. CFA, Rogue Coyote, and Zero Risk Security. HEC's investigations have shown there's almost no overlap between their areas of operation. It's not so much a turf war, more like they have a gentleman's agreement. If you do cross paths with them, you probably won't have to face more than one at a time. Still, don't expect a walk in the park. The CFA, Contract Forces of Africa. These guys are a major player. Their head office is in Pretoria, South Africa. That's also where the South African Defense Force is headquartered. We think the two are closely connected. An HEC investigation revealed that most of the CFA's operators are former SADF soldiers. South Africa has been locked in struggles with neighboring regimes for years. That means constant action. And we know better than anyone that's the best kind of training. A company drawing its recruits from hardened military vets. You can bet they know how to handle themselves. Do not underestimate them. Within the CFA is a company of soldiers made up mainly of locally hired operators. They speak Afrikaans to communicate with personnel from the CFA. But if you notice any speaking the local language, that's them. Though hired from the local population, they were originally part of a paramilitary group, so they'll have plenty of combat experience. And unlike their days shooting junkyard rifles out of beat-up pickup trucks, the CFA now supplies them with the latest gear from the West.
He's coming too. Roger that.
They've been combat trained by the South African Army.
Well, that
All
was
adds
easy.
up to a much stronger fighting force. So don't brush them off. Look at the Angola-Zaire border region. The east bank of the Muneni River in particular. It's a microcosm of a problem that stretches all across Africa. There's a civil war going on in Angola, fought between the government MPLA and the Western-backed UNITA. Zaire is still a dictatorship under President Mobutu, but numerous uprisings have broken out in its remote regions. With all the trouble elsewhere keeping their hands full, neither government has control over their side of the border. They depend on militias and PFs, as do the rebels. Government forces, guerrillas, militants, groups of all shapes and sizes hawk whatever resources they can to hire PFs. Conflict brings PFs. PFs expand the war zone, and more conflicts erupt in a continuous chain reaction. Sounds like our kind of work. Mother Base could grow by leaps and bounds.
Oh. My controller has just run out of batteries. One moment.
This is Pequod. Arriving shortly at LZ.
That's not a great timing.
This is Pequod. On station at LZ.
Ah! Ah! It's alright. Problem solved. Batteries. Those ones are dead. Relax, boys, I'm leaving. Got what I wanted. Bye.
Departing.
Ah, well, we got a blueprint now. This has been a huge waste of time. Let's do something more useful next. I feel like this was just busy work. Hold on. Let's deal with our...
Development complete.
Let's see what we
Please
have.
specify a project. Please specify a project.
One more marker placeable. Wow! I'm completely out of money. I didn't think this would happen when I had like millions and millions at the start of the game, but apparently we're out of money. That's happened. I don't know how.
Select a mission. Unit dispatched. Please select a mission.
Alright. That's what we're gonna do next time.